Do you want to connect with your audience and form deeper connections so that your communication, your conversation truly makes sense? If that's something that you'd really like to learn, this is Dr. Gopika Kumar, your communication and mindset coach. Let's get started with this right here. So today I'm going to be revealing two very interesting stories to really, elaborate on the concept of how do we connect with our audience to make sure that we are genuine and we being true to ourselves. And the moment that I've been able to share these two most powerful stories, which is coming straight from my life, you'll truly be able to understand that how do we form those deep, long-lasting connections for ourselves, right? So let's get started with the very concept of it before I get down to the stories. Make sure that you are listening to this till the very end to really understand the impact that we're going to create through this very episode. Now, whenever we are wanting to create that connection with an audience, we need to have something which is real, okay? Now, that aspect of realism only comes from real life stories. And I also call this as the life experience model, the LE model. Okay, that's all. The life experience model talks about that whenever you feel that there is a connection that you need to build up, inject a story that you have in from your own life so that you're able to develop a context and relatability with your audience. So I'm going to illustrate that to you with two powerful examples so that you're also being able to connect dots in your life. So here is a narration where I'm going to put down the context of that how parents are always wishing the very best for us, right? And I'm sure that you would agree with me on this. But just to elaborate on this aspect, that many a times when we are young, many of us really question to what they really wish for us. We feel that they are coming in between. They are the ones who are stopping us from doing what we want to do. They are not letting us be free or open up our wings and be able to fly. Many a time we feel that they are the ones who are making us take the wrong decisions, right? Relatable? Similarly, I felt that also in my life. I mean, there was a period when I was doing my master's, and this is because I am from Delhi and I'm going to be sharing this straight from my heart, which is when I was doing my master's in commerce. At that very age, I had not thought much about what I really wanted to pursue. And before my master's, I had already completed a bachelor's in design, graphic design, something very different, which means that I was literally all over the place. But my mother, she really pushed me and she saw the big, the academician or the philosopher in me, I would say. And she really pushed me and she's like, I would really want you to complete your master's in commerce, MCom, from a Delhi University college. And I did that. When I got into it, I very soon realized that this was somebody, it was meant for if you wanted to get into as an aspect of profession of teaching, which means you're likely to become a professor or a lecturer. Now that was a long lost dream of my mother. So I used to feel that, oh my God, that's because she wanted to do the same. She's pushed me towards it as well. Relatable, right? And I still remember that I called her up and I was like, that had I known that this was something that would only open up the opportunities for me in the space of being a professor, I would have never gotten myself enrolled into completing MCom for myself. And I was extremely angry about it, right? And relatable, right? I mean, that was something which was a feeling coming straight from my heart because somewhere deep I did not want to do it. Later on, I got some of the biggest opportunities in my life only and only because I did my MCom. I got my first job into the best university in the country, which was SRCC, into Delhi University. I got my opportunities to start working with some of the best institutions in the country. Now, all of that would have only been possible because I did my MCom. And today, later on, when I'm still into the same space because I got into training very soon, coaching and consulting online and offline at all times, everything my foundation was built up because I started my career as a professor. And that's what truly helped me to bind myself and my upbringing to make sure that I can, be able to speak in a spotlight. And that's where I really learned it all. And I know today there isn't one moment that I do not want to thank her. Now, that's a story that I'm wanting to share with you only to set the context that the parents will only and always have the best of the feelings and the best of the vibrations that they can send out to make sure that you receive the very best in your life. But if that's something that you truly relate with, then you must be able to believe in this as well. Now, I just shared a random story, putting this into a context and creating a meaning out of it. Similarly, when you want to create a deeper connection with your audience and you carve out a story from your own personal life, and especially when you're going to be sharing stories about yourself or about your family member, somebody who's extremely close to you, anybody who's listening to you would bound to get and be able to build up trust in what you're saying. Now, the moment you're able to build up trust for your listeners, that's where you're building deep, long-lasting connections, right? And my second most powerful story here is where you'll always be able to realize that everything that we do in our lives, my friends, is for a reason. Everything connects dots with itself. And you just heard from me that early in my life, I did a program in graphic design, right? And this is about, a narrative that I'm, sharing with you from my life, where I found that course that I had done way back in graphic design, how it became extremely lucrative for me when I was designing my own website back in 2011, when I was creating my own visiting cards, when I was designing my own courses, when I was designing my own logo for my own company. Today, when I'm designing all my courses, every other thing that you do connects back to something that you have learned somewhere back in your life. But there are so many times that many of us start ridiculing the fact that it makes no sense. Why am I studying maths? Or why am I doing accounts? Or why am I studying about history? Or, why am I doing graphic design? Why am I writing a book? Why am I pursuing a job? So many times we're asking a question to ourselves and we don't get an answer at that time. And I want to share this with you. You'll find sooner or later, you will connect dots with those experiences in your life. And that's where the picture becomes whole. That's where it starts making all the sense. Because I really truly believe in the Almighty. And I know that everything that's happening is happening for a reason. Now, this story that I've been able to carve out also shares experiences from my own personal life. And the moment you're able to connect dots anywhere in your life, I know that we have started to develop that trust, that empathy, that credibility that I would want to create for my listeners. And now you can do that for yourself as well. So if you want to build up those deep, long-lasting connections, apply the life experiences model. Carve out stories, create the context, extract the meaning, and be able to share it with your audience to make sure that you can create that one-to-one touch and that interaction that you'd really like to create. If that's something that you've been able to enjoy, would love to hear back from you. Make sure that you're being able to comment and share your suggestions with us constantly so that we are constantly being able to create many more such videos as well for you. Make sure if you haven't subscribed to our channel, do that right away and share it with somebody who truly needs to hear this from you today. This is Dr. Gopika Kumar signing off. See you in the next video.